It's not looking good for Blake Lively. Megyn Kelly is on a mission to uncover every inconsistency in Blake's story, and the receipts she just revealed might have sealed Blake's fate. As Megyn methodically tore through the claims, Blake's credibility took a serious hit, leaving fans in shock.
Will happily participate in releasing any further leaks that they have because the truth should be out there. What does she have to fear if she's telling the truth?
But you can rest assured that based on the investigation we've done, the text messages we have, the receipts that'll go along with that complaint, she's dead in the water.
Megyn Kelly is bringing in her own lawyer to back her up with receipts that totally prove Blake's been lying and twisting the truth from day one. But the real shocker, Blake's reasons might be way more shady and self-obsessed than anyone ever imagined.
Blake Lively was no victim here. She was in control, she was in power, and she took over this.
From using her bestie Taylor Swift and her husband Ryan Reynolds to intimidate Justin Baldoni to threatening producers that she would boycott the film if her absurd demands weren't met.
She was such a brat that she wanted to control every scene, wanted to see all the dailies, wanted to do her own cut and did her own cut of the movie. All this is very unusual for just an actress in the film, even if she's the lead, and that she's now tried to turn this whole thing into a PR victory for her to get past what appears to be the fact that she isn't.
Y'all, this is getting way messier than just some lawsuit. It's looking like Blake had a sneaky plan from the very beginning. By now, we all know Blake Lively sued Justin, accusing him of harassment and running a smear campaign against her. But Justin hit right back with his own lawsuit, claiming Blake was actually the one trying to ruin his reputation. And trust me, this drama goes way deeper than most people realize. Before we get into all the latest leaked receipts, we gotta go back to where it all started. Because, as we're now learning, Blake's so-called plan didn't just pop up overnight. This has been brewing for a long time. It all traces back to when Blake's image started crashing and burning in the public eye. And no, despite what she says, this had nothing to do with Justin Baldoni. The truth, it was her own Little Miss Perfect attitude that had people turning on her. Let me break it down. When she and Justin were promoting It Ends With Us, fans started noticing something was off about her. And y'all know how the internet works. People started digging up old interviews and woo! Let's just say what they found had everyone side-eyeing Blake real hard.
Often happens when these stars drop a movie, people start digging around for other interviews of them, etc. And it was just sort of a course of, wow, like, she seems like kind of a jerk. Wow, she's like kind of a bully. She's rather mean.
So in a desperate attempt to save her image, Blake went full defense mode and pointed the finger at Justin and his PR team, accusing them of spreading negative stories about her. As part of her Please Love Me Again plan, she even did a New York Times piece to shift the blame onto Justin, making him look like the villain while she played the victim. The only problem? There's now solid proof that the New York Times edited and manipulated text messages, conveniently leaving out key details just to make Justin look as bad as possible.
Literally removing text in between text and emojis.
But hold up, doesn't this sound just all a bit too familiar?
He has made herself into the new Amber Heard, and he...
Remember when Amber Heard pulled the same stunt on Johnny Depp back in 2018 with that hit piece in The Sun, painting him as the villain while playing the victim? Well, history might just be repeating itself, especially since Amber even crawled out of hiding to show her support for Blake. But let's be real, Blake seriously messed up by following in Amber's footsteps. I mean, we all remember how that turned out for Amber, right?
Now he's going full Johnny Depp on her to show that she was the bully, she was the one hurting him, and this guy who had, comparatively very little power was forced now to come out and tell the truth about Blake.
Just like Amber, Blake's biggest mistake was underestimating her fans and thinking we'd just fall for anything. She keeps claiming that Justin and his PR team are out to ruin her, but let's be real, we can see for ourselves. No PR spin is needed when Blake's attitude in interviews speaks louder than any headline.
So he'd suddenly start filming my hands or my feet. But what was interesting is that to him in that moment, my hands were telling so much more of the story than my face.
It's pretty obvious how she always turns the conversation back to herself, just like in this clip where she was asked about her husband, but somehow managed to make it all about her hair care line instead. And most of all, we can see how she is tone deaf to the theme of the movie and how little regard she seems to have for actual victims, as in this next clip.
Turned around and you were just as supportive of Ryan. Yeah. What is it like to...
And my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy...
It's no surprise her fans turned against her, and just like Johnny Depp completely dismantled Amber Heard, Justin Baldoni's lawyer is preparing to take Blake Lively down hard, literally.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion. Megyn. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
Oh, and here's a fun tidbit. Megyn Kelly's lawyer is also representing Justin Baldoni. As we pointed out earlier, this wasn't just a desperate move by Blake to salvage her reputation. From the very beginning, it might have been part of her sinister scheme to snatch Justin Baldoni's movie away from him. There are numerous text messages between Justin and Blake, as well as between Justin and the producers and editors, that back this up.
Prove this.
She used these allegations of sexual harassment and she used these allegations of bullying to try and leverage her position so she could be the de facto.
Justin Baldoni, who, by the way, wasn't just the lead actor but also the writer and director of the movie, was pretty shocked to find out that Blake had gone ahead and made her own director's cut of the film, one that no one was allowed to see. And that's not all. Justin was floored to discover that Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, had actually contributed to writing some of the scenes, which is totally out of line, and no one bothered to discuss it with Justin. To top it all off, Justin was forced to watch the premiere of his own movie from the basement with his friends and family.
Beautiful nights of my life career-wise, I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour because I wasn't allowed to be seen.
This is just more proof that she wanted to steal the film and have the spotlight only on herself. But now the tables are slowly turning and things are looking real bleak for Blake because Justin's lawyer is ready to unpack a whole lot of evidence against her.
Documents actually don't lie. People do. And it's important that everyone sees all of the documents that are involved in the case because there are people that have been destroyed as a result of the allegations that have been made so far in this case.
So, without further delay, here are just a few of the lies we now know she's been telling. Blake accused Justin of invading her personal space and showing up uninvited while she was undressed and feeding her baby. But newly leaked text messages cast serious doubt on Blake's entire story. As we can clearly see from her own messages to Justin, she actually invited him to her trailer while she was pumping milk for her baby. The proof is right here, clear as day in Blake's own words. And judging by Justin's response, he wasn't rushing over to her trailer while she might have been in an undressed state. He was clearly taking his time. This shows that Blake herself set the boundaries for what she was comfortable with.
An example of how she loves to play the victim. And then the one about, oh, he burst in on me uninvited when I was breastfeeding my child. She says we should run lines together. He's like, anytime. And she's like, come on over. I'm breastfeeding the baby in the trailer, but come.
Yep, Blake accused Jamie Heath, the lead producer and Justin Baldoni's best friend, of showing her highly inappropriate and pornographic material. Blake tried to spin it as a horrific episode of harassment, but her lawsuit revealed some important context. For example, the script for the movie included a birthing scene, and the video shown to her by the producer was actually of his own wife giving birth.
And that, because so often we see births in movies and TV, and they just look so fake. It's like a 3-month-old baby that comes out of, and I just wanted it to feel very real.
And as we've since also learned, the footage was rather artistic and done with taste to capture the beauty of giving life.
And as we've since also learned, the footage was rather artistic and done with taste to capture the beauty of giving life. Nothing pornographic or harassing about it.
A still shot from his wife's delivery of their child, which I've also seen. You can't see any R-rated parts at all. It's actually a really lovely.
Another shocking accusation Blake made was that Justin commented inappropriately about her weight and body, essentially fat-shaming her. The situation got so out of hand that Ryan Reynolds even called Justin to his penthouse, where he reportedly swore at him and gave him a serious scolding. But Blake didn't stop there. She didn't just drag her husband into the drama, she also allegedly used Taylor Swift to manipulate and berate Justin. In more leaked messages, Blake threatened Justin, claiming she was the great Khaleesi from Game of Thrones and that Ryan and Taylor were her dragons. It's honestly cringeworthy when Megyn Kelly puts it all into perspective.
He says we should run lines together. He's like, anytime. And she's like, come on over. I'm feeding the baby in the trailer, but come on over. Like, it's written there, black and white. She invited him in, and a lot of women are comfortable having someone around when they breastfeed, so it's not so weird, especially out in Hollywood, for him to assume, yeah, I guess she's fine with this because she did let him in. Ryan Reynolds comes off terribly. He had them over to their penthouse in New York, and Taylor Swift was believed to be there, according to this latest complaint.
But y'all, maybe Blake never watched Game of Thrones to the end, because if I remember correctly, things didn't end too well for now, did it?
Comparing herself to Khaleesi has to be one of the wildest cases of self-fulfilling prophecy I've seen to date. Like, everyone's making fun of her for saying that, but what's more Khaleesi than being a once beloved public figure who stood to win it all and lost it in a fiery rage? Like, no, like, it is giving twin. She's absolutely accurate. And just like in Game of Thrones, in the end, those dragons did not meet.
Just trying to ensure the scene was done safely. Other leaked messages prove Justin was incredibly supportive of Blake, especially when she was worried about her body image after giving birth. He reassured her, showing care and concern. As for the accusation about no intimacy coordinator on set, Blake's lawsuit claims there was none, but in an interview, she contradicted herself, admitting there was one. Even more, leaked texts show Blake wasn't really concerned about the coordinator's presence. Before Blake sued, Justin had already praised her for taking control of their intimate scenes. There's even a video of Blake directing Justin during a kissing scene, showing it was actually her leading the moment. Regarding Blake's claim about an uncomfortable dance scene where Justin allegedly harassed her by dragging his lips down her neck, the footage was released. Guess what? It has sound, proving Blake was twisting the truth. The whole scene was much more innocent than she portrayed. Blake even told Justin they should talk during the scene, which contradicts her own claim that there was no need for sound. Now, here's the real twist. After all the damage she caused with that New York Times article, Blake is now trying to slap a gag order on Justin and his lawyer to prevent them from sharing text messages or evidence against her. Seems like Blake's strategy to control the narrative is backfiring. So what do you think? Is Blake lying and playing the victim, or is there some truth to her claims? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on the hottest celebrity news.